Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I am Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister, and we are here on the day after Liberation Day. Drink your libations, people, because
feel
they're going up in price.
Do you feel free? Do you feel unencumbered by the strains of the world slapping tariffs on your back with no retribution?
I know.
Do you feel free as a bird, an American eagle soaring in the wind?
Yeah. Are you feeling like this is the F around and find out? Is this the fine, I told you so? Or are you believing, as our president or your president or whatever, Donald Trump says, that the patient, a la the country, was very, very sick, and we are just going to be experiencing a few months of pain, and then this will all miraculously go away? Let us know in the comments. And of course, before we get to that, please click the thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed to the Nikki Maduro Show, please do that as well. Tell your friends. We are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. We're just about there, so please do that as well. Our Patreon is up and running. We love PayPal as well, so if you could donate to the show, we would love that as well. And of course, our super chat and super stickers are a fun way to donate to the show, whether you are joining us live or recorded. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. So I don't care what he says. I don't care if there is a funny political article. I am just cracking up at this political article where they're talking about all of the things that have happened since. I'm going to bring it up because I accidentally closed it. They were talking about all of these numbers that have come out since Liberation Day, 25 numbers that explain Liberation Day. My favorite number that they had was the number 4. And this was the number of times the president said boom during the 50 seconds that he spent today defending his tariffs to journalists. He spent 50 seconds, that's all, defending the tariffs to journalists today at a time when the Dow plunged almost 1,700 points. 1,700 points.
And he spent
pretty. 50 seconds on the tariffs today. That's it. That's it. I mean, are we feeling good, people? I don't. And the amount of spin, some people are doing. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's happening now twice. I'm going to play the older one, but now it's happened twice on Fox. First, it started with Harris Faulkner, who I cannot stand. I swear to God, I cannot stand. But she starts the whole stupid, this stupid mentality.
And those 401k people who are depending, those retirees, all of that, just talking plain speak with them. Look, when this nation used to go to war, people in this country would support the war effort with their materials at home and making things for weaponry and all of that. We got to do 100% buy-in over this bumpy period. Just communicate.
We're not at war, though.
What?
We are not at war. We are not at war. This is peacetime.
He got elected to bring prices down. He got elected because people were mad that they were going to the grocery store and paying too much for eggs and milk. They were going to the gas station and gas was outrageous. And so that's why he got elected, right? Isn't that why?
That's what I thought.
That's why, because
bringing
people were
down
mad
prices.
Because of grocery store, you heard it over and over again. Why are you voting for Trump? The reporter would say, well, I pay too much at the grocery store. Normal Americans, we just can't do it. Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Then what is this?
Right.
This is the opposite. Every economist I've heard interviewed is scratching their head. One of them said, this is the worse than the worst case scenario.
Yeah. It's self-inflicted. It's a self-inflicted wound. We did this to ourselves. We did this to ourselves. Now, I will give this. And Vicky, did anyone else lose many thousands of dollars today? I will say this, Vicky. This is, unless you are retiring, right? Unless you are pulling a lot of your money out, right? Like, Dave, today was your retirement day, which I'm sure for many Americans, it is. Like, you were planning on retiring today. I know many people that it is their retirement day. I bet a lot of people are like looking at, I'm going to retire today because I don't know what the hell is going to happen in 2 months, 3 months, 1 year. I mean, we have a colleague that works at KCBS. She decided to call an early retirement. I am not saying that this is why. I am not saying that at all.
Mhm.
But I would say this. If I was thinking of taking an early retirement, I would take it now because I don't know what's happening. I don't
Well,
know what's going to happen.
even if you take an early retirement, your retirement money will be doled out to you
Mhm.
every month for the rest of your life is still
Right.
in
Stuck
the
in it.
stock market and is
Right.
still affected. And so you are more affected,
Right.
right? Because you don't have time of someone that's younger to let the markets rebound and fight
Exactly.
back. And so what you see here on the screen is the
Look at
drop
that.
of the market today. I mean, off a cliff,
Look at that.
a
Look at
cliff.
that. And we did it to ourselves. And I swear, okay, and I know my
Mhm.
dad doesn't watch my show. Love you, Dad, but he doesn't.
Mhm.
And I want to throw up, I want to like screenshot a text he sent me the day after the election. And it said something to the effect of, your bank account will thank you for it. Like, I just want to, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to. You want to know why? Because again, it is this idea of what we were talking about before. It's this idea of, well, let's just wait and see what happens, right? I'm going to say this. I hope he's effing right. It was the same thing we talked about before with the whole fine. Fine. If you think that whatever Trump's going to do is going to fix this country in the next 3 months, you are out of your ever living mind. Do you know how long it takes to build a factory and
Mhm.
manufacturing and to the what he wants to do? I would love to bring a lot of things back. The amount of time it takes, people will lose and generations, right? Like decades, decades. People will retire and die before they will get a return on that investment that Trump has decided to take, right? Like that's what he said. And they didn't vote for that, right? They did not vote for that. If Donald Trump would have campaigned on that and said, "Hey, I am going to raise tariffs and you are not going to have your retirement that you were banking on for 10 to 20 years because I am going to literally change how we make money in this country," then fine. But he did not make that promise. He promised egg prices would go down
That's right.
immediately. That's what he promised. He
Debbie
did
wants
not
to know
run on this.
which one of your fines was this? Did you have this in the fine bingo?
This was
Because I
not on my
didn't.
bingo card. Exactly. This is
It's
not what he
poss
promised people.
it's possible, Nikki, that I'm not the best and brightest,
Mm.
that I just don't understand the economy and I don't understand what's happening. And perhaps, angering the world and it's because it's not just our economy, it's the entire world's economy that just got flipped upside down. So maybe if I just hold my breath and,
Mhm.
check out and calm down for 2 months, I will see the genius move that has been made here, but I just can't see it.
Yeah,
I don't know what is happening.
right.
You saw when President Biden was trying to work on the economy and back and forth with the interest rates and struggling and trying to get everything just right, a little balance this way, a little correction this way, a little
Mhm.
bit, and over time we saw that the economy was getting better, that it worked. By the time he left office, things were better than they'd been in a long time economically. Yes, grocery prices were high, but there were jobs, people were
Yep.
doing, pretty well, and it wasn't like this. Now you're upset about grocery prices? Just wait.
Just
Just
wait.
wait. It's like a 1-2 punch. First of all, there's no one to pick the produce, so that's going up, right? There's we have a huge problem now with tariffs making everything more expensive, so it's gonna be even worse. I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear what your dad had to say. We should call him.
Yeah,
Put him on the
no.
air.
We are definitely not gonna be doing that.
"Mr.
I'm
Maduro,
sure
you're
he's
live on the Nikki Maduro show. What do you think about this?
Oh,
How you
no.
like me now,
Yeah, the
bitches?"
F-bombs. We would be
Mm,
bleeping the whole entire show. I'm just saying this. It's and I love that you brought up Biden because he had the CHIPS Act. He's
mhm.
brought some manufacturing. I think it's a Ford manufacturing plant was
Yeah.
already brought back and it's opening up. That happened under Biden, right? And because he knows it takes time. There has to be a plan, similar to everything with Doge, right? You don't just cut the legs off and think that the table is just going to stand up magically. You do things knowing that there has to be a system in place while the transition happens. You want to start bringing auto manufacturing back? You start with, let's just start with one auto manufacturer. Okay, we're going to put some pressure on this country and this auto manufacturer. We work in piecemeal over and over again. But this blanket tariffs, especially in places where there's only like penguins or they have a trade surplus.
Is that
right?
crazy?
I mean, there's no rhyme or reason for some of this crap.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
It's about who's his buddy and who's not his buddy, because you notice that there wasn't any big tariff slapped on Russia.
Well, they were talking about that. They already had them and sanctions and all that. They're definitely excusing that away because they were already sanctioning them over Ukraine. So they already had an excuse ready for all of that. But yeah. Exactly right. They did seem to be omitted from that long list that he held up at the podium. And again, and that he's nice because the trade's only half. Like he's always patting himself on the back. I only listened up to the press conference where then he started to turn it to complimenting himself. And then I was like, okay, we're done. Like he just has to turn every single press conference to how great he is. And I'm just over it.
No.
But it's
you
just,
mentioned
awful.
Ford. And I put this headline up because even the CEO of Ford is like, hey, wait a minute. Every single car is about to get more expensive. The CEO of Ford. So what they're doing is apparently they've decided that they're going to ease up on the prices by giving everyone the employee discount.
Right. I read that. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, parts are made in all parts of the world. Just because something is, even though the plant might be in America, everything's going to get more expensive. It's the globalization. I think, and this is going to be hard for me to say, I think Trump's heart, if there is one in there, is in the right place. It'd be great if America could produce everything in-house, right? It's a great dream. But you know what else is true? In America, it's expensive. And I think it's a good thing, right? It's expensive because we pay our workers more than around the world. It's expensive to make things in America for a good reason, right? Everything is going to cost a hell of a lot more. There is a reason why we make things in other countries. Our dollar went further in some of these countries. So, we paid people and it was less, right, than we would have to pay an American worker. It's going to cost so much more. And we might not want to have all of these manufacturing plants next to our neighborhoods. Did you ever think about that?
And our rivers, how many plants and our oceans.
You know what I mean? Like, who says I want all of this manufacturing that we would need to supply all of this stuff to every American in America? Where is it going to be placed? We need housing. I don't need another manufacturing plant. You guys have a problem with apartment complexes. Now we're going to have a manufacturing plant down the street. Like, are we thinking this through? I just don't think that we are. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Did you see what Tim Walz was saying today? Check this out.
Inconceivable. Look, Chris, I don't know. You almost have to be an amateur psychologist on this. It's like Trump is stuck in the 80s. His music, his clothing, his thinking. He has been on this tariff thing forever. And every economist, conservative or liberal, will tell you they just simply don't work. We use them strategically, but he doesn't fundamentally understand how trade works. It goes back to what I continue to say. I think the biggest myth perpetuated on this country is that Donald Trump understands anything about business. He's bankrupt every single one he's been into, and now he's bankrupting this country. So I appreciate you talking about this. This is a tax on working people that we've not seen in any of our lifetimes, and it is going to have dramatic effect. It's almost unconceivable.
Yeah. It's true. It's absolutely true. I don't think that he fully understands it. And he's right. He has bankrupt every single business.
Yeah.
And I know exactly. It was very tongue in cheek. It hurt me to say that he had a heart. I'm just saying, I think the idea of putting more business in America is what I meant. Not that he actually had a heart. Because I think everybody would say that whole made in America, right? Put that made in America thing on it, even though Trump hats are made in China and other places, right? But I understand the idea, but I think in reality, we don't actually want every single thing made in America. I think we want more American jobs,
Yeah.
good paying American jobs. I think we want a better balance, of course. But at the same time, I don't want to see more people on the unemployment line. Who is sick and tired of hearing about more and more people being let go and fired and cut from their jobs? I mean, there was a headline today, the Health and Human Services, RFK, had to reinstate some people from HHS, which is good, right? But at the same time, it's the fact that he has convinced Americans to look at other Americans and veterans who have worked their ass off in a position that they're likely highly qualified for and say, nah, you're a lazy worker. Your job was just waste. And they have no idea what they did, right? You had no idea what their job was. You're just assuming that because they told you to say that and it makes you feel good, right? You were just a budget line to them. You don't know what they're doing. That's what hurts me. And hurts them. And it's so cruel and it's ridiculous. And now this whole idea of tariffs and taking one for the team. Janine Pirro is also on this whole 401k. And I think it was John said earlier in the comments, if you're near retirement, you shouldn't be in the market. Well, tell that to people who were told to stay in the market and diversify and all that kind of stuff, because they still are in some sort of way. So here's
interesting about all that is that, when President Trump first started going after China, after Canada and Mexico, everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're our neighbors. They're wonderful people. Why are we doing this? We love the Canadians. Well, the truth is China is making cars in Mexico and Canada and not paying a tariff on them and selling them in the United States while they are putting a tariff on our cars. Look, you're going to tariff my goods, but I'm going to lay down and let you roll all over me and sell your stuff with virtually no tariff on it. Enough. And this is what Donald Trump ran on, and he's delivering. And you know what? I don't really care about my 401k today. You know what? Not that I can afford it, not that it isn't important, not that I'm not at a point in my life when I should be worried about my 401k, because I am. But this is what I believe. I believe in this man. And I believe that what we're seeing now with his bringing in $1 trillion in business and manufacturing and companies moving back to the United States.
Not yet.
And seeing what we saw during COVID, when we couldn't, we had all those supply chain problems. We couldn't get medicine in this country. Other countries were prioritizing themselves before they were sending stuff to us. It's about time we recognize we've got to have manufacturing in this country, and we need to bring them to the table. And Donald Trump is the only one who could do it because he's got the biggest consumer base in the world. He's not afraid of anybody. He's to the wall in terms of.
Anyways, she's like balls to the wall, whatever. I just think that they're missing this whole thing of the amount of time it's going to take to get even a fraction of what they hope to get done. Trillions of jobs. When do you think that's going to happen? When are the fruits of this dream that Donald Trump has? When are we going to see that? In a couple of months? You're high. You are high if you think that's going to happen in the next couple of months. No friggin' way. No friggin' way. And she's like, this summer, no friggin' way. A manufacturing plant? Medicine? Do you know how many hoops you have to jump through just to get a medicine approved, let alone manufactured in this country, let alone an entire plant? I mean, it's like people are out of their effing minds.
Biotech companies are closing. Biotech companies are laying people off. So no, I don't think that. One thing stood out to me about her comments. I believe in him, she said.
That's the
cult. And it makes me feel like I envision the tallest waterfall. And there's Trump and Janine, and they're in a canoe. And he's like, nope, it's this way, straight ahead.
Yeah,
And she's like,
exactly.
okay,
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, they're over the waterfall, pew, down,
Yep.
crashing into a million pieces. When she believed in him to until the bitter end, even though she saw the current rushing by, could hear the waterfall coming up ahead. All of the things, all of the signs that told her this isn't the way to do it. This isn't the way to go. This blind faith you put in someone when every economist says they're wrong, wrong, wrong.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
It's crazy. Well, thankfully, I don't know if Republicans are getting a backbone or a semblance of one.
Yeah.
Senator Chuck Grassley, a Republican, has joined Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell today to introduce bipartisan legislation, and it would give Congress more oversight into the imposition of tariffs. Now, apparently, though, I don't know if it would actually do anything. But lawmakers would have 60 days to review proposals by the president. But it's unlikely that it would ever become law. But it's just kind of this expression of Republicans and Democrats saying, hey, we would like more of a say before you start imposing any of this. But the damage is freaking done. Senator Tim Kaine has moved to revoke the emergency declaration giving Trump powers to place tariffs on countries like Canada. That has at least 4 Republican senators' votes, including Mitch McConnell. That's a good thing.
But it doesn't have any teeth to it.
It has no teeth to it. Exactly. And it's
like
just,
we don't like this tariff on Canada thing. It's like a resolution. It does nothing.
It does nothing. Now, and on that note, I want to transition a bit to Cory Booker. How many of you I was in and out. I mean, it was more than a day long.
Yeah.
What did you think? I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play the last minute and a half of his speech. And then let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of Cory Booker's historic, and it was the longest now speech. It wasn't a filibuster technically because he wasn't actually blocking any sort of legislation, but I like to think of it as he was blocking all of Trump's legislation. Like, that's how I describe it. I'm like, he wasn't picking one piece. He was basically just trying to say all of his policies suck ass, right? So here is basically the end. This is the moment when Cory Booker ended his historic speech. Here we go.
But I know who does have the power. The people of the United States of America. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It is time to heed the words of the man I began this whole thing with, John Lewis. I beg folks to take his example of his early days where he made himself determined to show his love for his country at a time the country didn't love him. To love this country so much, to be such a patriot that he endured beatings savagely on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, at lunch counters, on freedom rides. He said he had to do something. He would not normalize a moment like this. He would not just go along with business as usual. He wouldn't know how to solve it. But there's one thing that he would do that I hope we all can do, that I think I did a little bit of tonight. He said for us to go out and cause some good trouble, necessary trouble, to redeem the soul of our nation. I want you to redeem the dream. When our founder said we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We need that now from all Americans. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Ugh, I got all emotional when I watched the end of that. But it was just so, it was just so moving. But at the same time, I'm a Democrat. I agree with him. You know what I mean? Then almost immediately I became my instant thought was like, I'm not the audience that he needed to reach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the audience he needed to reach. He's already reached me.
You are the audience, though. You are the audience that sees this crap flung at your news stations day after day. The country kind of circling the drain, the opinion of the world dropping into the toilet more and more about what America is and who we are, and our way of life, the way we treat people, the way we treat immigrants, the way we treat each other, just going down and spiraling.
Mm,
And so maybe you agreed with him, but I think you've seen it at town halls where Democrats have stood up and said, "Why aren't you doing anything?
right.
Why are there's this push for Democrats to go to conservative districts and hold town halls because Republicans won't." And what Republicans got was an earful from people saying, "Why aren't you standing up?
Like, this is
Why
not
aren't you
normal.
doing
Yes.
more?"
Yeah.
And so that's exactly who he was speaking to. And that's what he did. He took a country of people who were looking at Democrats who just kind of were sitting there watching the Trump administration tear America apart. And he stood up and said, "This isn't right.
No,
And let me spend 25 hours and 1 minute telling you exactly why."
exactly.
And at the end of it, I felt the hope that Barack Obama promised, the hope that Kamala Harris promised, and I liked Cory Booker more than I've ever
Mm,
liked him before. And so I
yeah.
think he was trying to reach us. And you know what? Sold.
Well,
Yes.
yes. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I hope you're right. I hope the Democrats, seize on the moment. I still would like to see more. I mean, I'm tired of people like Cory Booker, Bernie Sanders, AOC, kind of screaming and talking to people, but not really seeing much that's stopping the momentum. Like, what are we actually doing? I mean, what are we actually doing? Okay, so this tariff war is still happening. I mean, I'm extremely excited that Wisconsin was not at least their state supreme court was not able to be bought. The voters were not able to be bought off by Elon Musk, which I was very, very, very happy about. I would have been extremely disappointed. And not so much that I live in Wisconsin, but it would have been, I guess, just if it would have gone that way, just this kind of confirmation that money can buy elections, right? Like, I know that we have a dark money in elections problem in this country, but Elon Musk wanted that state supreme court because the cases that involve him are going to be going before that court, and kind of it's a barometer of the midterms and those sorts of things. And I was just so happy that it went the way it should have gone, in the fact that I don't think that court elections should be partisan, but just the fact that Elon Musk threw his money into it, he made it partisan. You know what I mean? So we should have not even cared about this election is how it should have been. But because he had to put his nose in it, we
Yeah.
had to become
Oh,
interested in it.
when was the last time a state Supreme Court race was really on the
Exactly.
radar? It's though exciting to see finally that this went the right way, because we saw that the money mattered in the presidential election.
Oh,
That the
absolutely.
presidential election was essentially bought by a guy from South Africa who's now pulling the puppet strings here, hither and yon, and
Mhm.
making America dance monkey is what he's doing to us.
Yeah.
And so basically ruining it.
Yeah.
It's a heartbreaker. I just hope
Yeah.
we can come back from it. But that buying of a presidential election, it meant to me, well, of course he could just sweep in with his 25 million or however much it was and sweep up a judgeship. That's a piece of cake. And then he went out to Wisconsin and he put the cheese on his head and he danced around on stage and said, "I'm one of you. And this is a
Knowledge
moment."
matters.
Yeah,
Yes.
he said, "This is a moment that's culturally so important to us," right? And he talked about the drawing of congressional lines and how we need to keep it all red. And I
Mhm.
think the voters of Wisconsin took one look at him
Mhm.
riding in with his money and his cheese hat and said,
Yeah.
"Nope. Mm-mm."
Exactly. Exactly. And the thing is he's doing, again, and I just look at Republicans here. If Elon Musk was George Soros, which is the Republican boogeyman, you would be losing your ever-living mind. And that's the thing. Just because it's Elon Musk, you're A-okay with it. The hypocrisy that drips from Republicans is one of the things that drives me mad. It is so hypocritical because you would never, that's the thing. If you just would put a Democrat behind whatever Trump or Musk does, you would never stand for it. And that's what bothers me, is the hypocrisy, in addition to so many other things, of course. But it's, yeah, exactly. He handed out 2 $1 million checks. He said it was to get partisanship out of politics, which was such BS. Like, keep your money. Stay home. Like, why are you here? If you don't want races to become partisan, stay home. Like, why are you in Wisconsin? So obviously Wisconsin, the state Supreme Court is deciding, like Kim mentioned, cases on abortion, public sector unions, voting rules, congressional district boundaries. It controls, future voting challenges on, it's a battleground state, obviously, Wisconsin. I mean, it's going to be consequential, basically. So obviously Elon Musk gives a shit. So stop acting like you're giving $1 million to 2 people to keep things nonpartisan. Just kidding. No one gives $1 million. You're on mute. And no one gives $1 million. That's just too much money. You know what I mean? It's just too much money.
Did you see and I think people saw the checks being handed over and it left a bad taste in their mouth.
Exactly.
I mean, isn't so egregious? That's like so obvious that you're buying an election with your giant lottery-sized check.
It's so gross.
Did you see the story about Elon Musk that he is being accused by some of the people that he hired to canvass in swing states for Trump that he stiffed them?
Yes, I did hear about that.
Pay them.
Shocking.
Come on.
Well, he takes his page from Trump. I mean, he learned from the best, right? Exactly.
Do the work. I got your back. I'm going to pay you exorbitant amounts of money to go door to door and whip up the Trump frenzy. And then push comes to shove and there's no money there.
Exactly. Well, during the Wisconsin, the Cheesehead $1 million check giveaway, somebody actually asked about the Doge checks. So remember, they're finding, right? They're supposedly finding all this money. That's why people have been getting laid off, right? And so this chick was asking about, like, are we going to be getting any of that money? And this was it.
The only one who's wondering, but we know that Doge has found quite a bit of money, and we would like to see some of that returned to the American people. Do you have any information on when Doge checks would be written or sent out?
He says,
sure.
Yeah, right.
Well, I
Listen
guess
to this.
We need to be successful.
I thought you were
scale.
successful.
We've made a lot of progress, but there's still a tremendous amount of work to do.
Oh, yeah.
Effectively, as government spending is made more efficient and spending is reduced, the tax by inflation is reduced. One way or another, you will effectively be better off if resources in the United States are not wasted. It's somewhat up to the Congress and maybe the president to, as to whether specific checks are cut. But whether a check is cut or not, if you reduce wasteful spending, the economy is going to be better off.
So no.
It depends on you're not getting a thing. But you're not getting a thing. Who's getting a bunch of money? SpaceX contracts.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's getting money.
Teslas for government agencies.
Yeah.
I mean,
he'll
get a lot of money, but nobody else is going to get the money.
Yeah, he gets actual direct money. You don't have to have this like, oh, you're just going to get this feeling of money. You're going to feel like you have more money because we're going to not have all this wasteful spending.
Be in a better situation, honey. Exactly. Why don't you sit down? Your check's not coming.
Exactly. You're not going to actually have the actual cash. I will have actual money for me to spend on actual stuff that I can actually buy. You're just going to feel the essence of having more money and sleep well at night, I guess, just having that feeling of money.
Sitting on the bench watching the fifth graders skate at a field trip today. And I was sitting next to a mom, and she said, "Oh, do you have any plans coming up for spring break?" I said, "No." I explained to her about Julia's trip to Europe and how everything
Right.
extra we have is going
Exactly.
to make that happen. And I said, "What about you?" And she goes, "Well, I work for the Department of Forestry." So she said, there's a lot of question marks about what we have. She goes, I don't think we're doing anything at all. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're getting. We're getting a country full of people who have given their time, their dedication, their service, their education, their efforts to making this country better in a variety of ways. And what they're getting is a big question mark and a big nothing. That's what
Right.
they're getting. That's what we as a country are getting. A
Exactly.
question mark, a tanked stocket mark, and we don't know what's coming tomorrow.
Exactly. And that's people don't like that.
No.
The stock market doesn't like uncertainty. They
Mhm.
want to know what's coming. I want to know, people want to know, am I going to have a job? Am I going to be able to save for a spring break? What am I going to do this summer? Can I take a trip this summer?
Mhm.
I'm going to be driving across the country all the way to friggin' Kentucky in a car. I don't know what the hell that's going to look like. It's going to be nuts, right? It's going to be crazy. Mom says my groceries were $500 this month and we eat beans 3 times a week. We're definitely not better off. Exactly. Did you hear that Trump doesn't like the word groceries anymore? That it's like this antiquated word for different things in a bag. I'm like,
What do you call it?
he doesn't call it groceries because the guy doesn't buy groceries.
No.
He is so out of touch. He is so out of touch. I wish people would ask him I wish he could play The Price is Right. Like, these are the things that this should be questioned. You know how people are like, I want to have a beer with the president. I want the president of the United States candidate to play The Price is Right. I want you to get up there and I want you to tell me, how much do you think
Loaf of
eggs
bread.
go for? A loaf of bread is.
How much is this jar of mayonnaise?
How much is it?
Yeah.
How much do you think it costs for daycare? How much do you think it costs a family to send a child to daycare?
He was asked about daycare during the election and he couldn't answer it. It was one of the most humiliating moments of the election.
Right.
When he spun his wheels and went, yeah, daycare is really important because daycare.
Yeah, he doesn't
remember
know.
daycare? Yeah, daycare.
Yeah.
We got to change daycare. He didn't have a clue.
See? And we elect these people. We elect these people that have no idea what it's like to be an average American. And that's BS. That's the problem with the American voter is that we get hung up. And I will say this about Trump voters. I don't know what the hell you guys got hung up on Trump. He says it like it is. He has no idea what it's like to be you. No idea what it's like to be you at all. Oh, but he knows how to run a business. The country is not a business. It is made up of farmers and families and small business owners and rich people and poor people and people from all different backgrounds. They're not a business. They're human beings, right? They go to bed at night. They're not budget lines. And that's what people don't understand when they elected Donald Trump, who has never had to work hard for anything in his life, ever. And he hasn't. That's true.
No.
And it's not his, I'm not going to say it's his fault. You get born a certain way into a certain type of family, but he hasn't. And he hasn't had good business acumen either. So I don't understand the appeal. I never did, but it's just insane.
He cares about the people that make money. He cares about the people that sell stuff. He cares about you could argue he cares. I was going to say he cares about business, although what he just did shows that maybe he doesn't really understand business.
No.
But he's definitely on the side of people who don't worry about groceries.
Yeah, exactly.
Who don't worry about what they're going to spend at the store, whether they're going to have enough money, to pay their vet bill versus feed themselves. He doesn't worry about that.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand. He's completely out of touch. And I agree. Someone in the chat said, it doesn't matter what you call it, groceries or not. It's not going to make a difference. But to him, see, that's this weird thing. If he controls the narrative, if he takes the word away, then all of a sudden, it loses its impact or something. But people need something to call the stuff that you get when, okay, sure. The stuff I buy at the store is way more expensive than I can afford.
It doesn't,
Whatever.
whatever you
It doesn't
call it.
change anything.
I'm still calling it groceries. I'm calling it
Groceries.
the
That's what they
stuff that
are.
I put in the cart to buy, the stuff that I
Right.
eat, everything I eat,
Mhm.
whether it's eggs or bread or milk or the stuff that sustains the life. You know, the stuff I need to ingest through my mouth
Mhm.
into my stomach to keep me alive. Butthead. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Do you ask your family to help you bring in the stuff you just bought from the store? No, you say,
Yes.
"Hey, can you help me bring in the
Gives me the
groceries?"
groceries. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like this kid
Whatever.
that just
He's such
stormed
a
in right now.
weirdo. He just doesn't understand.
Exactly.
And it's just not either, and it's too important. You know, it's not we're not a lab experiment where you can just throw this piece of spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Will this work? Will that
Yeah,
work?
exactly.
It
It's
has to be more nuanced than that. We're a big country. We're counting on you. We're
mhm.
counting on you when you're failing.
Yeah.
But on the other
Yeah.
hand, didn't take them long to fail, my friend.
God, and from the beginning, right? I mean, God,
Mhm.
from day effing one, it has been an ass show. I've just been waiting for like to catch our breath, and it just hasn't stopped. But you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, so again, every day I just wait. I think and just to kind of put a final note on this whole tariff war. I think it's like a game of chicken, right? I mean, I think that's what I think people are hoping it is, even though Trump says no, these are permanent. I feel like people are hoping, really do. I think like countries are like, he's gonna blink, right? Like that's what they're hoping because if not, we're screwed. We really are screwed. If it doesn't lead to a negotiation, because that's what you keep hearing people say is like, this is a negotiating tactic. So they're going to come to the table and we're going to work things out. That's what they keep hoping. Because if this is actually permanent and he actually believes that we're going to wait the decades it's going to take to move all of the manufacturing into America, we're screwed. I'm just saying it. We're screwed.
I wonder if he's doing it on purpose. I
For
wonder,
what?
well, I hate to be the whole like comparison to Hitler type of thing, right? But if the economy is so awful, the worse we get off financially, the worse we are off financially, the easier it is to get people angry and to turn people's attention toward the others, right?
Uh-huh.
The in more dire straits this country becomes and we become, you know, the common folk become, then the easier it may be to control us and make us think that doing away with the Constitution, that ignoring the rule of law, all of these things, you know, those are the least of our worries because, you know, the others are coming for us. I
Right.
just like, I look at it and think, why would you do this? What's the end game for
Why are
you?
you destroying like all of like why
Right.
are you throwing us into a recession and then possibly,
Yeah.
God forbid, a depression or something like that?
I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but my mind goes there because I think what else could it possibly be?
I don't know. I don't I would hope that look, we are going to have midterms. That's the truth. And I do think politics is the most important thing to honestly everybody in Washington. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So people have
So
done crazier things, you know what I mean? So
John calls me out on it, and again, I'm not comparing him to Hitler per se because obviously there are dramatic differences. Like he hasn't that I know of walked up and shot someone for disagreeing with him yet. But what I'm saying is that, and I do believe that we are looking at an oligarchy, and
oh,
that
absolutely.
and I do believe that our system of government is on the precipice of change. And so, in that way, John, that's what I'm talking about is how do you get Americans to let go of the Constitution, to let go of the things that made us who we are? How do you get us to let go? Maybe you make us poor, you make our economy volatile. You do all these things that then allow you to change things up and
Mm,
stay in power a third term and do all the
ugh.
maybe I'm wrong, John. I don't know. But it's fine if you don't agree with me. And I don't even know if I agree with myself, but I'm just saying there has to be a reason. And that's the only one I could think of.
Yeah, Lori says it tanks the economy fast, then quote unquote fixes it, and then
Right.
blames the bad part on the previous administration. I don't think there's anyone that's going to believe that this part in any way, shape, or form can be blamed on Biden. I mean, again, this tariff war is 100% Donald Trump. Mindy says he wants his retribution. Remember, he doesn't care at all about America or the people in it. Just screw up the whole thing. I think that what Tim Walz had said earlier is true. I think he's stuck in the 80s. I think his business mindset is really stuck in the 80s. Similar to getting rid of the Department of Education. We talked about that earlier, a couple shows ago, right? He hated the Department of Education, always wanted to get rid of it. And then he got in power and he could. So he did. He holds on to certain things and that's it. And and again, like we were just talking about, he is not in our reality. He doesn't see the world we do. So what's the big deal of holding on and feeling a little bit of pain? He doesn't feel our pain. He doesn't feel it. So if you're not feeling it, why would he care? It's just a little bit of pain. His kids aren't in school, right?
No,
so what does he care if the Department of Education is brought back to poor states that aren't properly educating their kids, or he doesn't have a disabled child, or he's in a low-income family, or anything like that? Like, he is not directly experiencing what some Americans are experiencing. So why the hell should he give a shit? Does that make sense? Donald Trump only cares about the things that he is directly experiencing. He has proven that time and again. So, yeah. Kevin says Trump is against anything that educates people. He loves the uneducated. Literally said those words out loud. I don't know. I'm beside myself with this whole tariff war. We're going to wait and see what happens. We're going to wait and see what happens. In the meantime, you guys are going to have to, the austerity, the tightening of the belts, I don't know how to prepare. Who knows how long it's going to last? Who knows how long it's going to last? I hope it's not long. But I have a feeling these countries are not going to be happy. I have a feeling that they are going to be like, we might want to make not necessarily America, because I think they have a feeling that it's Trump more than obviously America. They're going to want to make Trump squirm and make him politically suffer for this. You know what I mean? Like, screw you then, because they can all team up. Think about it. You want America, you want to stand alone? Fine. We don't have the capacity. We don't have the capacity right now to manufacture everything ourselves. We don't. And they know it. So, and we can't build a factory like that. I don't know where Trump gets this insane idea, but we can.
I wonder if eventually the prices of homes will be affected by this. If the economy is going to do a big swirly and a flush.
Well, of course it is. The price of everything from lumber, not only lumber, but the price of all the tools, all that. And not only that, I was listening to something on the radio today, with the auto manufacturers and the price of cars, people are going to want to keep their used cars. So
Right.
then, of course, mechanics are like, okay, well, obviously our business is going to go up. The workforce is not necessarily there to keep up with it. And I will say this, if there is ever a silver lining, I will say this, and this again is going to take time though. If there was something, and somebody just said it, that was somebody, Josh, my kid has until May 1st to decide on a college. Fun times. My heart goes out to you, because with the FAFSA and all the Department of Education BS going on, if my kid didn't know what to go into, I'd go into the trades, because if this is where things are going, manufacturing, and I'm talking engineering, but although automation could also take over a lot of this stuff too, but they're going to have to build the homes. They're going to have to do all of those sorts of things. Definitely the trades I would be looking into, because we do not have enough people to be doing these jobs in the next 10 to 20 years. We just don't. They don't have the mechanics to work on the cars, or the computers that are in these cars, right? That have the knowledge to fix these cars. Not even close. Not even close to the number of people to do that. So it's going to be an S show. I don't know. I don't want to be too negative about the whole damn thing, but it is a negative thing that's going on right now. Sorry. It just is. It's just bad. You're on mute. But yeah, it's
Good thing I wasn't saying anything of importance anyway.
But it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. Tammy says Florida real estate is being compared to 2008. Canadians are selling their winter homes in mass.
Wow. Yeah.
I wonder if you get a good deal though. That's
Mhm.
interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah. And Sue Ann says, don't forget Trump's showing signs of dementia, bad decisions from a decaying mind. He wants a third term too. And some people are like, yes. I swear.
No.
Insane. And then people are like term limits on one hand and then Trump third term on the other. I have no idea what people are talking about. Again, you guys all know I never wish death on people, but I really do think that he's, old. So I don't know if he's going to make it all the way through this term. Not saying it or wishing anything, but he's old. So, who knows? Things
Yeah, a
like
lot of
that
people
happen.
say, don't worry about a third term because he's not going to make it anyway.
Yeah, well, those things can happen.
He's not in the best of health.
Well, he's not spry at the very least, and it's a very stressful job to be a president. I mean,
Mhm. Not
he's
for
actually
him.
well,
No,
exactly.
it's stressful for people who care about America. It's stressful for other presidents who love the country and feel the weight of the world on their shoulders and who go in looking like they're,
Right.
45 and come out looking like they're 85.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the normal way. When you have empathy, when you care, when you feel the pressure, when you have to send people to conflicts or into battle and you worry about the loss of life.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't care about America. This guy doesn't care about the loss of life of military service members. This guy cares about numero uno. He cares about himself, and that is it. So that's why he looked the same going in as he did coming out, because he doesn't feel the pressure. He's like, I've got carte blanche to do whatever I want.
Well,
He doesn't.
maybe.
He's not in it. He's not in it for us. He's in it
Well,
for him.
I actually hope that the job is stressing him out a bit. I will say that. I hope that it is stressing him out a bit. Let's just hope. Well, this is kind of a business story. Wanted to get your guys' thought on this as we transition a bit. There's some businesses that just have a brand, and I don't know how you can move away from the brand and still stay in business. But apparently Hooters is trying to do just that. So Hooters is going to do a re-Hooterization is what they're calling it because they're trying to avoid bankruptcy. They've had a notorious bikini nights and they're axing those in an attempt to become more family friendly. Kim McAllister, have you ever been inside a Hooters?
I did once. I did go into a Hooters once.
Okay. Did you
Yeah,
like
we were on
it?
vacation. We were looking for somewhere to go. I'd never been inside one, and the people that I was with thought that was hilarious that I'd never been in one. I thought, well, why would I go in there?
Well, they have pretty good chicken, actually. I've been in several. Just because one of my good friends, he loves to go to Hooters for his birthday. So I've been with him a couple of times for his birthday because that's just where he is. And it's honestly, it's not that bad. I mean, the ones I go to, they wear tank tops and they honestly just wear they're booty shorts. You know what I mean? But they wear nylons underneath them. So it's not actually like
the outfits are skimpy, and then they do their little tricks and dances and back bends to pour your beer and all that stuff.
Exactly. I mean
but what is it? What is Hooters without Hooters? I mean, that's their shtick. Without them, they're just another chicken restaurant.
I think that's actually the problem. Yeah. I think there's too many chicken joints. So in my neck of the woods here in San Jose, they just opened in the Evergreen area of San Jose a Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
How many people like Raising Cane's? Anybody?
Julia loves it.
Really? Have you had it?
Place. Yeah, because Julia loves it. So we don't have it here, but when we drive to a band competition somewhere like Sacramento or, wherever in the Central Valley, then we find Raising Cane's and she always wants to stop. And it's a very
See?
simple menu. They have
It's
chicken
chicken
nuggets,
tenders. Yeah, it's chicken tenders. That's it.
chicken tenders, French fries, and Texas toast.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's either the sandwich with the chicken
Mhm.
tenders as a sandwich, or you could just get the chicken tenders.
Right.
I'm telling you this, in the hierarchy of chicken, I mean, I don't like KFC. I will say this. Raising Cane's is like a step above KFC for me. I find it, sorry, Raising Cane's fans,
Yeah.
I find their tenders to be very dry. You guys know me. I like my crispy, crunchy chicken. And in all honesty, I like my Popeyes. I mean, if I had my choice, it'd be those two, Popeyes and crispy, crunchy. And I would actually say Popeyes more because crispy, crunchy, I really only like their legs. But Popeyes, I can go with pretty much, they have way more options for me at Popeyes. No, Wingstop, my daughter loves Wingstop, Gordon.
Oh, so does mine. Yeah.
No, I'm not a big Wingstop fan. Popeyes. Yeah. Vanessa, I will say, if I had to choose, hands down, Vanessa, my thing now, I think I'm going to have to get Popeyes tonight. Damn it.
Is that all processed meat?
I
Like,
don't,
is Wingstop, they don't even have bones in it's not really a wing. What is it?
oh,
It's just a
I think you can
smorgasbord
get it
of
with
meat
bones.
glommed together.
You can
I
get them
don't
with
know.
bones. You can get the wings with bones in them. If I get wings, I get it with bones in them, and I like the flats. But at Popeyes, they have the ghost pepper fried chicken sandwich. I am telling you, it is spicy with pickles. It's so good. Now I'm
You
hungry.
see, the world is so depressing that we just have to make ourselves happy with food.
Heck yeah.
I have something to make you happy. Are you ready for this? I told you today that I went on a field trip.
Hmm.
I missed the Mark Thompson show. I recorded the after party. I'm here live for this show.
Because it's
But
the best.
I went to this. Yeah, of course. I went to this. Sorry, Mark Thompson. I went to
We drink on this show. Sorry, Mark.
We do. Absolutely. So I go to the Snoopy's ice rink and the Snoopy Museum in
Yes, that's
Santa
right.
Rosa, big 5th grade field trip. And I mention it on the recorded show that this is where I am. And all of a sudden, I turn around and guess who's there?
Who?
They're here tonight in the chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
who?
Look, it's Ren and Cameo.
Oh,
Ren
no,
and
that is
Cameo.
so
They came
fun.
to visit me at the ice rink. What an amazingly wonderful
Oh,
surprise.
that is so awesome.
To see them in the wild, to see them in real life.
see
This
them in
was
the wild. I
amazing.
love
Look
that.
at their smiles.
Oh, look at those smile.
Those people are so nice. You guys are so amazing.
Oh, I
So
love that
that's
they're here too.
Ren, that's Cameo. They got their picture taken with Jacob.
Oh, look how cute is that?
Isn't that awesome? I just love it. It just brought
Oh.
me such joy. So if we're talking about things that bring us joy,
And so you guys
Ren
must
and
live up
Cameo
there.
did.
They all live up
Mhm.
there?
Yeah, they live really close, I guess, to the ice rink. So they said, "Well, we heard you were here." So we thought, what the heck? We're just gonna pop on by. And I thought that was so cool.
Okay, so which one's Ren? Which one's Cameo? Everyone's asking.
Ren is the woman in the pink,
Okay.
and
Cameo's obviously
Cameo
the man.
is the fellow in the Giants cap.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's
And
awesome.
they are the absolute cutest couple. Love them.
Oh, that is so fun. I know Jacob is tall. He grew up
Yeah.
so much.
Well, he's also on ice skates, but yeah, he's huge. He's
No.
at the top of the growth chart, that one.
And he's in what grade
Mhm.
now?
5th.
Wow.
Mhm.
And how tall is he now? Look at it. Look at your smile. You are so cute, Kim.
He's
She is
so
so
funny.
cute. That is so cute. That is a great picture. You're gonna have to save that
I
one.
look horrible. My hair was
Oh,
unbrushed. I had
stop.
hardly any makeup on, and I'm all like, "Bleh,"
Oh,
but I was so
stop.
glad to see them. Really
Oh, that
glad.
is so cute. That is really, really fun. It's always
Mhm.
fun to meet listeners
Yeah.
out there.
It was great.
Honestly, it is
Yeah.
so fun.
Mhm.
I know because I've been telling Kim, like I've been meeting some random Nikki Maduro show
Yeah.
viewers and listeners, and it's so, it's just one of those things that when you meet people in the wild that you're not expecting, it's kind of like
Mhm.
you're kind of taken aback because it's just awesome that you're just like, oh, you listen, you watch. And so on
Yeah.
that note, you guys, if you haven't subscribed and you're here, please
Please do.
subscribe and share the
Mhm.
show because we love meeting you guys. But yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Isn't she just so
Oh, you guys are so
beautiful?
nice.
Did you
Of
get
course,
the peppermint hot chocolate, Kim?
I did
Mm.
not get the peppermint hot chocolate. I did, though, spend money on treats. I
Oh,
had a car full of kids. I had like four including Jacob.
okay.
And it was kind of quiet on the way up because I got kids that he doesn't really hang around with that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought we'll do something fun on the way back. So I bought some treats on the way out, and I had a you're gonna think this is so dorky. I had a spelling championship. And if you got 3 words right, then you got one of the prizes that I bought at the Warm Puppy Cafe.
Only you would do that.
Uh-huh.
I swear to God, only you would do
Yeah.
that.
If they spelled 3 words correctly, they got a treat. Yeah.
Oh, that is so funny.
They had
That
a
is
blast.
so funny. Oh, Ren's so cute. She's like, we told Kim that we always look for her when we're in Petaluma. Nikki, we
Yeah.
always look for you when we're in Campbell.
Oh,
That is awesome.
cool.
I often
Yeah.
am in Campbell. I was just in Campbell last week and we were doing a big old bike ride. I was dying. I was dying last weekend. I hadn't ridden my bike for like so long. Riding in Campbell is kind of hard because it's always like a slight incline. It's either up or down for me, people. A slight incline is just the worst. And my husband gave me a new bike. The gears weren't working. It was awful. But anyways, yes, if you ever see me out in the wild in Campbell, please come up and say hi. But yes, yeah. I love that. You'll have to keep that picture in the rotation because we love that.
Yeah.
But back to food. But anyways, back to the food. Popeyes, Hooters, I don't know if they can rebrand. They're going bankrupt. I don't think that they're going to succeed with the rebrand. I don't know if Hooters can ever be family friendly. I don't know if I would ever do that. I think that they're going to have to keep the TNA or just say goodbye. You know what I mean?
I think
I
so
think
too.
that you either keep your brand. That's the thing with business. I think this is more of a business thing, right? I mean, either you are what you are or you're just not that anymore.
Right.
And Hooters, even though they have an owl as their like whatever cartoon on the we know what that's for.
Well, the 2 eyes are supposed to be the boobs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Hooters. So they unveiled a new uniform, Hooters did, featuring wedgie micro shorts that resembled bikini bottoms in 2021. The updated ensemble was met with scrutiny. Waitresses called it porn. So then they reversed the decision. And so I think they're going the opposite way. Look, no one's going to bring their kids to Hooters for family friendly night. I think you should just go back to the original thing. But honestly, I think that chicken is just taking over. I think Raising Cane's, Popeyes, KFC, we have like hot chicken everywhere. Chicken's having like a moment, I feel like. And
We have a
chicken's
restaurant.
expensive.
We have a restaurant called What a Chicken.
Really? What a chicken?
What a chicken. We have a Pollo Loco. We have
we have an El Pollo
a
Loco.
Wingstop. Yeah, there
We have
was chicken
Wingstop.
restaurants everywhere.
Yeah. We have too much chicken, I feel like. And chicken's expensive. It is not a cheap fast food restaurant. Like McDonald's has gotten expensive. Fast food in general has gotten really, really expensive. I would even keep it up to par. Like Five Guys is expensive. The Habit Burger is expensive. It is all crap. I know. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't eat fast food. Whatever. Not everybody wants to cook every night. But yeah, I would say that if I had to choose out of all the chickens that I like, Popeyes is the best. And I think I'm going to have to eat it tonight because I don't want to cook tonight. Thursday, this show, I'm just going to let you guys know. After this show and this cocktail, I never want to cook. So I'm always door dashing something probably. This is my night that I don't do anything. I don't do anything on this night. This is the night I don't cook.
I do my best to not judge you for your questionable taste in suspect meat.
Don't judge me on any of my meat.
Judge
I
you.
love you don't like any sort of like fast food meat or anything like that. I'll eat it. If it looks good, I'll eat it.
Those are the cheap chicken that you buy. That's the ones where they
The crispy, crunchy chicken?
They keep them in the cages and they don't let the feet touch the ground and they pump them full of
I don't know where it comes from. You ask too many questions. You ask way too many questions.
I do ask too many questions.
Yeah, that's your Petaluma in you. That's your fancy
I come from the land of butter and eggs, right? Like this is where the chicken happens.
I'm from San Jose. We just don't ask too many questions.
We have touchy-feely chicken up here. There you go.
We don't ask way too many. We just eat it. Just shut up, eat it. It tastes good. Put some sauce on it. You're fine. You're just fine. Just stop it. Speaking of eating, though, I have a food story for you that I just don't understand. This is in the Associated Press. And I don't understand this headline. They say, do you eat a meal in 20 minutes or less? How long does it take you to eat a meal?
Well, it depends on what kind of meal we're talking about.
Okay. Like if you go to a restaurant and they put the main course in front of you, how long does on average it take you to eat that meal?
So am I at am I with Nikki Maduro and do we stop by Habit Burger? Or am
No.
I at like a sit-down restaurant that's a normal restaurant where, first they bring the bread basket and then they bring you the entree?
No. This is the entree. Your plate of your entree
Mhm.
has been now placed in front of you. You're picking up your fork and your knife, and the timer is on.
I would say if it's a burger, that's
No
down
burger.
pretty
I'm
that's
gonna say
down
it's
pretty
not a
fast.
burger. We're not doing
If
fast
it's
food.
if it's
A
chicken
meal.
parmesan
Yes.
and I have to use my knife to cut it up,
Yes.
take me a little longer. Probably
How
maybe
long?
20 minutes. It doesn't
Okay.
take that long to eat,
Right.
right? It takes longer to sit down and order the food than it does to eat the food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this article was like, if it takes you 20 minutes or less, you need to slow down. And I'm like, I think 20 minutes
Mhm.
is the longest.
Yeah.
The longest it should take. If it
Oh.
takes you longer than 20 minutes, your food is cold. I mean-
Perhaps you're chit-chatting in between. And if you're chatting and you're like, it's not like constant eating.
Right.
If you're like, you take a break, you talk, you take a sip, you blah blah blah.
But
Maybe
then my
it'll take you
food's
longer.
getting
I
cold.
don't
Like,
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, we're not talking
Yeah.
about the dinner, like
Yeah.
the wine and the dessert. I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
experience here, people. I am talking about the actual meal, the
Mhm.
eating portion. And they're saying if you eat it, you need to slow down to digest and all that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, my plate better be like warm then, because other than that, I'm eating a very cold meal because
Listen,
you need to eat it. There has
most
to be
of
a
the
point where you
time,
eat it.
I can't wait to get out of there. My kids have the worst table manners. The other day, I took a family member to a local restaurant, and he ordered noodles. And I look
Okay.
over in the middle of a nice restaurant. He's got noodles up here, and he's doing one of those. And I'm like, no,
My son has done that, but only at home.
no,
Only at home.
we're not at home. You can't suck noodles like that in public.
I
God,
could
get me
totally
out
see
of this
Jacob
place.
doing that too.
Oh my
I
God.
could totally see him doing
Yeah.
that too. But yeah, I mean, we take a long time at dinner.
Yeah.
Because we're talking and we're
Sure.
gabbing and drinking and bread. Like the experience takes a long time. Yes, John,
Right.
exactly. Hours.
That's right.
The gabbing. But if you're talking about you've put, I had this conversation with a kid in my school today. It was so cute. He's sitting there and he's like, if you had to have, I love these conversations with these kids that never want to go back to class, right? What's your favorite food? And I'm like, are we talking last meal? Like, last meal. He's like, yeah. He's like, and I was like, okay. I'm like, what's yours? And he said his mom's mole. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, and he didn't like my answer. I said, probably a ribeye steak. I'm like, if you're going to be, I'm like, I probably want a steak. Now, if
Right.
you put a ribeye steak in front of me and all of the food that I said, I cooked. Like, I was like, if I'm going to eat it, I have to make it because I want to make it the way I like it. I am not having a ribeye steak get cold on me. Like, I'm probably just eating it. Like, I have to eat it or it's going to get cold. If I have a plate of pasta in front of me and it's not like a gigantic bowl that's staying warm, I'm eating it. Like, I have to eat it. It's going to get cold. Unless it's something that can get cold. It's like if it's fine getting cold, then I might talk a little bit more, but yeah. But Calvin, if you add dessert and appetizers, maybe 30 minutes, you're a fast eater. If you add dessert and appetizers, I'm there easy an hour and a half to 2 hours. Unless they kick me out. Yeah.
Well, that's for one of those experiences, though.
Yeah. I mean,
it depends on who you're with and what the style of
and
the
how
place
quick
is.
the server is. I
Mhm.
mean, if it's like one of these, I'm at Applebee's or Chili's, and they're like, "Get the hell out," you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But yeah, if I'm at a fancy restaurant where here's the appetizer and then they put in my entree, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then I'm done
Mhm.
with the entree and then they put in my dessert and,
Right.
do you want a aperitif or whatever? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if it's one of those things, I could be there for an hour and a half. And then if it's with my whole entire family, you'll never get us out of the freaking
That's right.
restaurant.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? It's just going to take freaking forever.
Yeah. It's all right.
Absolutely. So, but at 20 minets or less, and I would say that I chew my food pretty well. I think I do.
So funny.
All right. I see a story in here that you put in, Kim McAllister, that's from our good friend Calvin.
Calvin Wong sent this story actually not too long ago. This evening, he sent me a story from People Magazine that apparently Bruce Springsteen is going to release 7 never before heard albums. for a grand total,
Albums?
83 songs, 7 albums, 83 songs.
Oh
And
my
his quote
God,
is,
that's a lot.
I hope you enjoy them." Right?
Wow. That's a lot
Today,
of music. Okay, go ahead.
Bruce Springsteen announced the release of the tracks to the Lost Albums. This is a collection of 7 never before heard albums with music recorded between 1983 and 2018. Some of those years were the Bruce Springsteen glory years.
The heck
You
yeah.
know, your voice changes over time, your music style changes over time. So some of this stuff was, he was in the Bruce Spring heyday, right?
Heck
Lost
yeah.
Albums apparently fills in rich chapters of Springsteen's expansive career timeline, offers invaluable insight into his life and work as an artist. They're full records, these 7 records, to the point of them being mixed and not released. Like they were ready to go. And for whatever reason, he's like, yeah, no, I don't want to tour that. I don't want to tour in support of it. I don't want to release that, whatever it was. He said, I've played this music to myself and often close friends for years now, and I'm glad that you will finally get a chance to hear them, and I hope you enjoy them. So
I wonder
one
if
of
he likes them. I wonder if it's like, did he like these songs so much that he didn't release them? Or did he have or was he sensitive about these songs? Like, I wonder what it was about these songs that he didn't want to release them.
maybe
You know what
if
I
you're
mean?
so prolific and you have so much, you kind of have to pick and choose. I don't know.
That's interesting.
You don't want to saturate the market. There could be a sweet spot for an artist who's trying to
Right.
achieve fame. Like you don't just want to roll out everything. You want to be very particular about what you're putting out, maybe. And now that he's, done what he wants to do with his career and achieved a level of success that, is unfathomable in those early years, he's like, sure, let's release it
But
all.
now he's gonna have to tour all over again with these songs. You know that, right?
Perhaps one of them is called the LA Garage Sessions 83. And they
Okay.
say it's a link between 1982's Nebraska and 1984's Born in the USA.
Oh
And it's
wow.
got the same drum loop and the same synth sounds as the Streets of Philadelphia sessions.
I like
He's
Bruce Springsteen.
He said the ability to record at home whenever I wanted allowed me to go into a wide variety of different musical directions. And so here it all comes to us now.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Mhm.
So when is it
Yeah.
being released? Is it already been released or when is he releasing it?
It is being released. He announced the release today. Let me see.
Oh, I
don't know
see.
exactly
June
what it-
27th. I see it right here.
June 20. Yeah, it's at the very end. Lost Albums is due June 27th via Sony Music.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. How many Bruce Springsteen fans do we have in there? I mean,
Yeah.
Mindy says maybe Bruce will go on tour again. That would be great. I mean, geez. How old is Bruce now? I mean, I don't know if he's that old to do it, right? I mean, he can go on tour again.
That's a good question. How old do you think Bruce Springsteen is?
Let's see. Bruce Springsteen, I want to say in his 60s. I could be maybe 60s, 70s.
What do you guys think?
How old is Bruce Springsteen? 60?
Looking for you in the chat.
How old is he? I want to say
Look
70.
good,
70. I'm going to say 70.
You're saying
70.
70.
I'm going to say
Tammy
70.
says 76. I'm giving it to Tammy. The guy is 75 years old.
Yeah, 70. I was like, okay, 70.
I'll give it to Gordon. He's got
There
the
we
right
go.
on the money.
He's 75. 75. All right.
75.
75. That's how old is I mean, what if what's his face?
And he is Josh. Yep.
From the Rolling Stones can still freaking tour. I mean, Bruce Springsteen can still tour. I mean, come on now. These guys, they just love to tour. But if you're going to release all of this music, Mick Jagger, thank you. You at least have to do one big one. You know what I mean? Like
Mick Jagger is 81.
I know, man.
He's the same age as, how old is Trump? Is he 81?
I don't even think Trump's 81 yet, right?
No.
I think he's 80 maybe. But I'm saying you have to at least do one big tour to put out all of this music. You know how much tickets would be for something like that? Oh my God.
But maybe he doesn't want to.
No, you have to. You have to.
Perhaps at 75.
No,
you hold
you have
one
to.
concert and you go on
No.
stage and you record it and you release it as a Netflix special.
No,
And
don't
that's
do
your gift to the world.
that. No.
That's your concert. You say, enjoy.
If
This
you
is
do
me
something like that,
performing my
that's
stuff.
lame.
I don't know.
No, that would suck. If you only do one concert and put it on Netflix, that is the lamest of the lame. No, you have to do at least, or he does one. Where is he from? Philadelphia, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Maybe he just does one there. That would be, that would be kind of cool, I guess. You know what I mean? That would still suck though. Cause not everybody can go. Cause that would kind of suck for like big, Bruce Springsteen fans that can't be out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has such that distinctive voice,
Yeah, he does.
and he has fans. I mean, not just obviously in the United States, but you'd obviously have to do it here. But that'd be really cool. I'm assuming he doesn't need the money,
Oh,
but
sure not at this point.
I mean, why else would you release this music now unless you were going to do
Because
at least a tour? Just
because
one.
you can. Because at 75, you've had the career trajectory you wanted. You've achieved the level of fame, finance, and everything that you set out to do, and yet you still have all this stuff. Same with Dolly Parton.
I think he wants the attention. I'm going to say he's going to go on tour. I'm
Dolly
saying
says
that he does it.
she's got a bunch of songs. She's got some to be released 10 years after she passes away.
Exactly. Why wouldn't he do that then? I think that he wants to go on tour. Unless you're going to release it after your death, why release it now unless you're going to give it to everybody live? Why not?
I don't know.
I hope he does. I hope he goes on tour. I mean, I'm not that I'd probably be able to afford tickets, but I mean, look at that guy. He looks so good. You think he has work done? You think he gets Botox? I mean, come on, look at that forehead. I mean, he looks really good. He looks really good.
He's very tan.
I know. I mean, look at that guy.
Yeah.
He looks really good for 75, 76?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're like, yeah.
I don't know how old that picture is.
Still though. Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's a guy that could probably go on tour again and make, I think it'd be fun. You don't have to do a lot. You could just do some major cities, right? And get some quick cash and do something like that. I think that would be awesome. Good for Bruce. We'll have to check out that album. Comes out, what did I say again? June? Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
June. All right. We'll be checking that out.
83 songs.
83. That's a lot of music to check out.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of music. All right. I have one more story to do. And we had a listener, viewer that had mentioned his child was applying to colleges. There's this article, and we talk a lot about, colleges and college acceptance. We did the whole bed party thing where parents were throwing bed parties for their kids when they found out they were accepted to colleges. But there was this article that was talking about college acceptance letters. And I was really interested in it because I had a friend whose daughter is applying to a bunch of colleges, and she's really, really, really focused on, the Ivies and this whole idea of, wanting to just get into kind of the big name colleges because it's their dream college. Now, I'm going to just go on record and say this. If you have the grades and you have the money, I'm not going to poo-poo it. And I'm not, and you know me, Kim, and I have a big mouth. You'd be proud of me. I pulled back. I was like, if you want to support that and not have an A, B, or even C kind of option, that's your prerogative. I will just say this. I think that children that don't at least have a B or a C plan are setting themselves up for disappointment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this article in the Post was saying college admission decisions are pushing kids off the deep end. They say of the 1.2 million kids who applied to college this year, obviously, many won't get into their dream schools, and it's going to be a really devastating decision. And they're saying it shouldn't define you. How many people have ever been asked if you went to a big name college? Obviously, if you didn't, it probably doesn't matter. And I know obviously, some of you have gone to big name colleges like Harvard and stuff. How many times does it come up in the conversation? I mean, honestly, how many times does it come up in a conversation naturally where you went to school? How often in your life does it come up? Except in this moment, right? Like besides this moment of applying for a college, or if you're looking for a job, right? Like, how many times does it really come up? And that's what this article was saying. This clinical psychologist in Princeton, New Jersey, serves as the director of counseling, and for more than 2 decades has described college decision season as a time where the tension on campus among seniors was palatable. They say for people who are already vulnerable, meaning they have a tendency to depression, anxiety, or self-esteem problems, or even come from very intense family situations, those kids can end up in a very unhealthy situation. There's a graduate of Lawrenceville, which is a prep school, sends more than a third of its graduates to the Ivy League. And they say they remember a very contagious anxiety of friends crumbling under the pressure. They said you couldn't get through a conversation without a question of where you were applying or which common app essay prompt you chose. I don't know what that is yet. I guess it's an app that you use to write essays. I guess I'm going to know about that next year. They're saying it's assumed it would be parents or teachers pressuring students, but it's actually the opposite. Teachers are telling these kids to slow down and not worry so much. It's the kids who are driving each other crazy. And they say that virtually nobody asks, but it's also this. They say kids are bugging their parents. They're saying, why aren't you doing more to help me get in? Like, why aren't you doing more to
Really?
Yes, it's the kids that are putting so much pressure on each other. And I'm just like, really? And then like they're saying Harvard, right? Because Harvard's doing this whole, if you can get in, it's free if you make, it's just, you're not going to get in. Like, it's like the NFL kind of thing, right? It's so unlikely that you're going to get in. Even if you have a 4.0 GPA and you cured cancer, you know what I mean? It's so hard to get into some of these colleges that you should have a backup to a backup to a backup plan. And I just feel like so many of these kids are setting them up, I know, right? For failure. That's why we had that college scandal. That's why we had that college scandal.
The Friday Lights or whatever it was.
Yeah, where they were bribing all these
Varsity Blues.
Yeah, it's just so, and I don't want my kid. I just don't want me. I mean, you guys already know my situation with my kids. I've really have popped that whole balloon, like you're starting at community college because money. But again, I just feel like because this is the college, and to add on to it, this nonsense with what's happening in Washington, D.C., and that's adding this whole other layer of pressure. I cannot even imagine applying to college this year. And the big question mark of financial aid on top of grade point averages and all of the other pressure. Exactly, Gordon. That's exactly what we're doing. I just don't, I don't know.
Julia's honors chemistry teacher said it's time for you guys to start thinking about plans after high school.
Right.
And so I'm going to assign you this task where I want you to think about different things you might want to do and look into different programs. And it could be trade, it could be whatever. But tell me what those avenues are for you and what you need to get there. And it was this assignment. And Julia's assignment, she brings it home and she shows me it's all music conservatories. So here she is taking these tough classes and she doesn't need any of them. All she needs is an audition in her bassoon. That's it.
Wow.
I keep telling her it would probably be beneficial to you to get your music degree and another degree to have a backup plan, because you don't know. I mean, AI starts making music. All of a sudden, no one's going to the orchestra anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but everyone's going to still want to go to see live music. No one wants to sit and look at a computer. Nobody wants to sit and look at a computer make music.
I don't know. I'm the one who's fine with Bruce Springsteen on Netflix. You're like, no, we got to go see it live.
Yes. Yes. It's just like you know what the difference is? It's like people that want to see the hologram of Michael Jackson. And I'm like, there is no effing way I want to see a hologram of Michael Jackson. No. Josh says, I don't see that. My kiddo got in everywhere. Congratulations. Money is the reality that needs to be considered.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and Josh, you don't have to share your situation, but that's exactly my situation. I mean, I have great kids. I always tell them, what I would love to tell my kids, whatever college you can get into, you can go to. But that is not anywhere close to the reality. It's not. And so I popped that bubble extremely early because I have taught my kids I don't want them saddled with debt.
Yeah.
It's not something I want them to do. I do not want them taking out loans. I sure as hell am not taking out loans. I'm not. So it's like, you can go to college, you can work if you need to help pay for it. I have been saving some money. I'm obviously going to help pay for your college as much as I can afford, but there is a limit. There is an absolute limit. Because again, like I was saying in this article, how many times does where you go to college come up? You know what I mean? Like, and what degree are you going for?
I'm sure it depends on your line of work.
Right.
So, if Julia ends up getting a doctor of bassoon, there is such a thing, then who knew? I'm learning.
What do you do? Like the stat, like
I'm sure that then if she goes
this
to
bassoon needs a heart attack, is having a heart attack.
Like, where did you go to music school? Where did you get your whatever?
Of course. It's like Juilliard and things like that. Yes.
Yeah, those kind of things.
Of course.
My niece is at UCLA right now, and her big plan is to apply to UC Davis Vet School afterward.
Okay.
And so that's going to make a difference. Where did you get your undergrad degree? It's a very competitive school to get into. So those things matter.
So hold on. Let me just stop you there.
Yeah.
So, okay, for instance, because the vet thing is where I want to stop you. So are you telling me that if, for instance, I wanted to become a vet and I know a vet, it's like becoming a doctor, right?
Sure, absolutely.
It's just like that, except it's for animals.
Except you don't have to just memorize one anatomy. You have to memorize a bunch of different anatomies and be specialists at them all. Right.
Is it the same? And this is just my question because I don't understand the difference. So like with medical school, you have to like get placed, right? So it's whatever field you want to get into, you can go to medical school, but then you have to like whatever specialty you want to go into, you have to be accepted into the school. Is it the same for vets?
I don't exactly know, but here's what I think happens. I think you get into vet school like you get into med school. And then if you want to do a specialty, you get a fellowship, much like a people doctor would, right?
Okay.
So you go to med school and then you do your residency, but in vet school, maybe you don't have to do a residency. You have experience training during vet school. But if you wanted to specialize, say, in being an ophthalmologist for rabbits or dogs or something, that's going to be some extra training. If you wanted to be a brain surgeon for giraffes, you're going to have to go get a fellowship at a zoo or whatever it is. So there would be extra training involved in that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ren says there's a shortage of vets, so it's a good field to get into. And you know what? AI is not going to take over that. You know what I mean? I'm not handing over my pooch to some computer. So that's a good field to get into. You know what I mean? So, and again, I would say that medical schools like that, I can understand. But if I'm going to become, I don't know, just something else, you know what I mean? That's not like that. Just go to college, just get a degree. That's what I mean. And I'm not poo-pooing other degrees, but unless it's something like that.
But you hear it like at back to school night, when the teacher's standing up in front of the room, they'll say, and even on the evening syllabus, they'll say, my name is Ms. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, and I have my master's degree in, English or education or math or whatever it is from such and such a university. And it may make people feel like, oh, well, there's someone really educated teaching my kid. That's great. I think it depends on what line of work you go into as to whether it matters. Yeah.
But I mean, again, they could also be full of shit.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think it matters. Exactly, Mama. It's like there's also a shortage of sanitation workers, which is also a vital job that gets paid a ton of money. Like, I just feel like we prioritize things that in the long run, I personally feel don't matter, that only goes so far in life. Like, standing up and not to discount what you just said, Kim, but standing up in front of a group of people and saying, I got my degree from X, Y, and Z is not worth the tens of thousands of dollars that I might be in debt.
Oh, no.
It doesn't matter. The ROI is not worth it. You know what I mean? So
I can
just get
tell
the degree
you
and skip that speech. You know what I mean? So
two of my biggest debts, because my kids haven't gone to college yet, right?
Right.
Two of my biggest debts are the home that I currently sit in,
which is worth
and
it.
my husband's college loans, which are still sticking with us.
Yeah. Right. See?
Mhm.
So it's just, those are the things that I always, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. And it's going to continue to be until I get these damn kids out of college.
Mhm.
But I just feel like when I hear things like this, when I hear things of kids becoming depressed, and I hear this quote like this, like, I at one point, this child screamed at me, why haven't you done anything? I replied that I got him an advisor and a tutor. And they said, why haven't you done anything to change the college admissions process? Like, kids are begging for that to change. And I think that it's cyclical, right? We're all part of the college admissions process. It's the importance we place on it. And so I don't know. I just think that this time of year is when all of this kind of, people are getting their letters and people are making decisions, and it's just
they
like,
get really nervous. Like,
Mhm.
I remember every day my niece was looking in the mail, looking in the email, like waiting, waiting. And she was on pins and needles, but she is someone who's focused and driven, and that's her goal.
Yeah.
Not all kids are like that. I don't think all
Yeah.
kids stress out like that.
Well, I hope not. I really, really
Mhm.
hope not. I feel like kind of because we live in the Bay Area,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
maybe a lot. I just hear it a
Yeah.
lot more,
Mhm.
and just because of the conversation I had, it's not only that, and then it's just scholarships. Somebody mentioned scholarships, and then the pressure of not only an academic scholarship but a sports scholarship, and it's like, and then I feel like sometimes parents live vicariously through their kids, especially if they didn't get a college degree, and it's like, just take a deep breath. You know what I mean? And I know, and I guess maybe I'm also saying this for myself too. You know what I mean? Like, to remind myself as I get closer, because my daughter's about to be in the midst of this. We're going to be
Mhm.
going through this together, Kim.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just saying it out loud to remind myself of it too, to not get too hung up on it, to just take a deep breath and remember it's their decision. You know what I mean? It is their decision and
No.
it is their life.
I
And
feel like things could change a lot too, because
right.
I just saw a story about Trump cutting millions of dollars possibly from Brown University. We have
Mhm.
scientists and researchers leaving universities and going abroad because funding is cut for scientific research.
Yep.
It could be that some of these colleges that have these reputations for being these institutions for science and learning maybe take a big hit,
Yeah.
and perhaps college is changing because of what's about to come and because of the cuts that will be made to them. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, and also what jobs are going to be in 10 years? What is the job force going to need in 10 years? And like
Mhm.
we said at the beginning, I feel like the trades will always be needed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So Gordon, I
Work to
became an
building.
electronic technician in 2
Mhm.
years, bike to college, ended career with 3 figures. Exactly. My
Yep.
husband works for the trades and basically supports his whole entire family. Journalism did not pay off for me in money. I mean, it did well for me for as long as I was
Yeah.
in it. And I loved my career for more than 20 years. And I love doing this, I mean, this is completely different, and so, man, that's the plan, taking general ed and JC and going
Yeah.
over. Vicky, have you ever met an Ivy League graduate who doesn't find a way to work that into the conversation? Well, they paid for it. They might as well. They probably
Yeah.
have a class where they practice working it into the conversation. Somebody had asked about Marley, my daughter. She's so funny. So she's trying to find a job. I had mentioned Raising Cane's, which is opening up in the Evergreen area, San Jose. She actually applied because she likes
Oh,
Raising Cane's.
sure.
And she's going to be driving soon, so she could take herself over there.
Yeah.
But her favorite fast food joint is McDonald's. And she's so funny, Kim. She's so funny. She's like, and
McDonald's?
McDonald's. And
Okay.
she's like, McDonald's they give you college scholarships. So I told my friends, I'm going to go there because they give you college. And I was like, they do give you college scholarships. She's like, so I'm the smart one, Mom. I'm like, dude, whatever. You love McDonald's, like go work. As long as you have gas money. I don't
whatever
care.
it
I'm
is,
like, whatever
right?
gets you money. But apparently Raising
Mhm.
Cane's pays you $20 an hour. So I was like, hell, if you get the job, knock yourself out, whatever gets you a paycheck. So, but yeah, so the girls are going to start working and, that's going to be that. How did we get so old, Kim McAllister?
I
How
don't
did we get
know.
so old? I don't know
It's
what happened, but
what
it's happening
happened.
so quick. Well, we have some thank yous to give before we end the show, by the
Yay.
way. Oh, and by the way, I have to say, I don't know how I brain farted on this. Bruce Springsteen is from New Jersey. Somebody mentioned it
New
earlier.
Jersey and not Philadelphia. New
I don't
Jersey.
know why I
of
was
course.
thinking Philadelphia. I
Of course.
know it's New Jersey.
You said Philadelphia, and I'm like, sure, sounds right.
No, that was so.
It's New Jersey.
The moment I said it, I was like, it's not Philadelphia. It is New Jersey, and I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. Sorry. Lori, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. You are so awesome. And
Really nice.
Meredith for the $20 super sticker as well. Thank you guys
Yay.
so much for supporting the show. We depend on you because we are a
Thank you.
100% crowd-funded show, and we can't do the show without you. So we love being here every Thursday night. And again, you guys share the show with your friends. The super stickers, the super chat, it's always open, whether you watch the show live or it is recorded. But if you want to join us live, be here 5 o'clock Pacific every Thursday evening. We have our cocktails and news. You don't have to drink. You can do whatever you want to. Vanessa, my first high school job was at a Wiener Schnitzel. Mine was at the original Pancake House and photos. Huh?
Don't they have the hats? The Wiener Schnitzel, or am I thinking of the hot dog place?
I think they probably both had hats, but
Hot dog on a stick.
hot
That's
dog on a stick
hilarious.
had one. The hot dog on a stick was kind of a weird kind of job, but yeah, with the dipping of the stick. But anyways, thank you for doing
So your first job was where did you say?
the original Pancake House off Saratoga and 280.
that's
And then I worked
cool.
at Togo's. I had a lot of food jobs, food
Yeah.
business. I think everybody should work in.
I've never worked in a food job. Never.
I think everybody should. I've always said that.
I sold T-shirts at the Santa Cruz Yacht Harbor and in
Yeah,
Capitola.
you worked on the beach. See,
Uh-huh.
I wish I could have done that. Click the thumbs up button as well. We love the support for the show. It helps with the algorithm and all that. And all this is in the show notes as well. Our Patreon is also open. Just go to thenikkimadoroshow.com. The links are in there as well.
Please.
And you can also support our delicious sponsor, Auntie Tabby's Island Barbecue Sauce. This guava barbecue sauce is unlike any barbecue sauce. It's absolutely delicious. Just go to auntietabbys.com, and when you do, you get 10% off every single time you order by using our coupon code NICKKIM, NIKKIM. And again, just use that to get 10% off every time you order from auntietabbys.com. All right, you guys, we love you. Come back tomorrow. Again, 5 o'clock Pacific is when we are live. Grab your cocktails. I know they're probably more expensive now. There's a tariff on aluminum beer cans. I mean, I swear to God.
Seriously?
I know. It's awful. It's awful.
They're just doing this to spoil our Christmas.
It sucks, but we'll always be here. And, we're pretty much free. All right. We love you guys. Mwah. Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.